what's the significance of heuristics? Maybe you can share a few words about that.
Um, God, it's heuristics are. I really struggle to define them, but for me, the heuristics are the things that make it clear to me when I'm behaving in the way that I desire versus don't desire. One of my very favorite ones that I sort of graded for myself and for people who reported into me when I used to be a manager was if I have to tell you no, I have to give you a reason. If you don't find that reason compelling, or if I don't give you a reason, push back immediately. That one was useful for me because as a manager or somebody in authority, it's very easy for me to just say, take the shortcut and say, do this thing, or take the shortcut and say, no, you can't do that thing. And that one was important because it empowered the people who reported into me while also keeping me honest to the things that were important to me. So for me, the heuristic is all about the simple mechanism that makes it clear that I either am doing the thing that I intend to, or I'm not. Um, and you see a lot of them in the world around us. You just don't always recognize them. For example, I would probably call a heuristic of a dotted line on a highway as this is the thing I stay in between. And if I end up in between lanes, then I'm in a dangerous position and I'm violating the heuristic.
So yeah, and I guess there could be exceptions where you do need to go across that dotted line. There could be an obstruction, or there could be some danger, and so it makes
Yep.
sense. And it's also that person's decision. And I guess that also means that we don't have to have a massive rule book, because it's impossible to model and predict every single possibility in the world. So heuristics are there to keep things simple, I guess.
Yeah, well, I agree totally. They're there to keep things simple, but when you keep things simple, they're also going to be imprecise. But imprecision is okay as long as it's useful. And the second piece, I think, and tying it back to what we were talking about earlier, coaches often either don't have self-awareness or they move away from it because something else is distracting them. The heuristic is a very easy way to get back to uh, the self-awareness, or at least imposed awareness that you've already set for yourself by having this heuristic that keeps you honest.
Mm, mm, absolutely. And how might this relate to platitudes? So my thought when it comes to platitudes is there could be some values or principles which that could be corporate or at team level, and we may have formed these values and principles, but we're not really using them in our day-to-day behavior or decisions of how we conduct ourselves amongst our colleagues. And sometimes these values and principles are put up on the internet site or team charter, or maybe they're even printed out and put on the office wall when we're working in the office, but we walk past them, we don't really use them. So to me, that's what platitudes are. Do you share that a similar opinion?
Yeah, I think I do. I mean, if I were to put it in my own words, the difference for me between a platitude and a heuristic is a platitude is some high level idea or ideal that you want to honor, but you have no way if you're honoring it or not without something more specific. Like, for example, Henrik Nyberg, I love his notion of people over everything, which is true. I embrace it, but it's still a platitude. I can't really action that. And I can't find
Mm.
ways in which I'm being dishonest to it. I would have to have a heuristic that's a little closer to me and a little more tangible that would make that platitude into a heuristic.
I've